Hey Adobe Live family, welcome. I am so excited to be back with you for another weekly challenge for Adobe Express. This month is International Women's Month, and we're going to be hanging out today and creating custom wall art that you can use in your office. How fun is this? I've actually gone ahead and done this in our workspace as well. I'm going to actually pull up my example to show y'all because let me tell you, this is something that is such a game changer if you are looking for an easy way to elevate your office. You can see here, this is actually inside my office that I'm sitting in right here. These are some pieces of wall art that our team had actually made as a way to just express who we are as an agency and what we love, and just to have a fun way to elevate our space. And that's what we're going to be doing here today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brittney Megann. I'm the CEO and head socialista of Socials and Stilettos, and you probably have seen me popping around Adobe Live. You guys are my second family. So can we take a second and drop your location in the chat? I see Adara, hello. And we're gonna go ahead and jump right into our weekly challenge. So as you can see here, like every weekly challenge, you have a starter file. And I've already gone ahead and created some really fun pieces of wall art that you can take, make your own, switch up the quotes, customize, truly just make this your piece of art. And I'm going to show you some fun tips and tricks of things that we can really take into consideration, or really, I want to say keep in the back of our mind when we are creating wall art if you want to create something from scratch. Some fun effects that we can play around with. I mean, how do you even choose between all of these pieces of art? Let me tell you, these are definitely, I feel like I'm going to have to switch out my office art because they're so cute, and I had way too much fun making these for you. I see lots of people popping in. Hello. This one here, funny story, is anybody here an Illustrator fan? Does anybody use Illustrator? This box of matches here, I actually used the text to vector feature in Adobe Illustrator. That's about as far as my Illustrator capabilities go right now. I am an Express girly. I live inside of Express. I am not a designer. I say this all the time, which is kind of why I love Express, because if you're just like me and you really struggle with creating things inside some of the bigger platforms Illustrator or even Photoshop, but you still want to create high quality graphics, Adobe Express is going to be for you. So this was used the text to vector feature inside of Illustrator. Of course, if this is something that you want to learn more on, just maybe drop a comment in the chat, and I'm sure our mod Adara, who is one of my business besties, we go way back, can drop a link or an article or something to help you figure out how to do this, or just connect with me on Instagram and I can show you that too. So let's go ahead and open up our blank canvas. Your starter file, y'all, is going to be sized to 8.5 by 11 because I wanted to keep this really simple, and I wanted to give you a way to really create something that you could actually just print at your at home printer, and it doesn't have to be super complicated. It doesn't have to feel super overwhelming. Literally, you could print this off, put it use sticky tack. Is that a thing in the States? Use a sticky tack, put it on the wall, all of that kind of fun stuff. But we're going to start with a blank canvas here. And the first thing that I kind of wanted to show you, when you're creating wall art, I think everybody has color palettes and things that they love to work with. This brands tab here in Adobe Express is my best friend, because I keep all of our brand assets and client brand assets kind of in their own individual brand board. And then I like to keep something for any project that I'm working on. So in this case, for International Women's Month, and because we're celebrating here on Adobe Live and I'm hosting every single week's live challenge, hello, we get to have fun, and we kind of created something, a palette, a brand, if you will, that truly kind of screams female empowerment. And I wanted to kind of keep to my true nature of it being pink, but I also wanted to bring in some fun feminist pops, your oranges, or a lot of the times you see red and any kind of like feminist movement, or anytime we're talking about female power and empowerment, as well as some traditional colors like black and white. Like it's timeless. You can't go wrong with like a dark black shade and some sort of a white. So this is what we have that we're working with. First thing I'm going to do here is let's go ahead and change the background to a light pink. I think I want to show you some of these simple text effects and how to achieve them inside of Adobe Express first. So we have this amazing quote, "Be a stiletto in a room full of flats." I'm just going to copy this because y'all, me typing on a live stream should be illegal. That's all I'm saying. It should be illegal. It is not, like, I am not somebody who can type under pressure. So we're going to go ahead and add our text, and you can actually see here, I should be able to, International Women's Month. We have all of our fonts here that I've kind of already pre-selected specifically for this use case and specifically for all the fun stuff that we're creating this month. So we're going to go with this text here, bounded regular, and I'm just going to paste my quote in. Perfect. It kind of already took my my settings, and all it did was make sure it was under the darkest, heaviest weight, which would be black in this case, and change the fill color to this light creamy color, which is so fun. And we're going to go ahead and align this to the center. The align features, you can have fun with them. Do whatever your heart desires. There's no right or wrong. This is your wall art. Make it yours. Make it pop, if you will. And we're going to go ahead and bring this straight up to the center of my, I guess you could call this my project, my page. We'll call it a page. You can see here when I drag this around, do you see those little dividers, alignment tools pop up? We have, our one straight vertical line and then one horizontally. And you can see that my text is now in the middle of this page. There's also an easy way to do this if you're somebody who has a super sensitive mouse, or you're somebody who's like, no, like I still can't tell where this line is coming up. It's going to stress me out. There's another way to do this. You can go to position, make sure that you have middle selected. If it's light gray, it means because it's already in the middle and you're good to go. And then we'll go ahead and press center, and that's going to align everything to the middle of your page. You can also align to top. You could align to the left. You could align to the right, to the bottom. You can do all sorts of fun stuff, but we're going to keep it in the middle. Now, we're going to go ahead and go under this fun button here, text effects. So we're under our text bubble here, and then effects at the top. And you already have your font pre-selected at this point. So we're really just kind of playing around with the different settings here. Now you can add shadows, and like you can see here, it just added like a really fun dark shadow here. There's lots of different things to play around with. Or if you're looking for something a little more custom, let's say you love this strong one, maybe you want to make it orange to kind of fit more your brand vibe, but you're thinking to yourself, I wish I could just adjust this a little bit more. We can play around with the angles. Do you see this? It's going around in a little circle around our quote here. So much fun. And you can also play with the distance. How far away do you want this as a shadow from your body of text? You can also blur it out. We love a good blur moment. I mean, it's so much fun when you get to kind of play around with these settings. So it really is personal preference. I'm going to be honest with you and say that there is no right or wrong way to create your wall art. This is truly an expression of you. So whatever speaks to your heart and makes your heart happy, have fun with it, and don't be afraid to play around. Something when I was kind of creating this one here that I really loved was this kind of block behind the text here, which I thought was really cool. Of course, you could add in shapes and maybe make a little rectangle and throw it to the back there. But I mean, I was like, how can we make this literally 2-click done? So under shapes here, you can also experiment with some different shapes. Let's say we want to make this orange again, so it kind of pops. You have lots of different shapes that you can go ahead and play around with. And these can be so much fun if you're looking for something that is just like a quick little extra little bit of spice to your artwork. But for me, this one here reminds me a lot of like when you kind of see captions highlighted on Instagram. If you're creating on Instagram, I find this so fun to play around with. So for me, I just went to the the little adjustment panel, you can see those little bars there letting you know that this feature, this shape can actually be customized. That's really what it's letting you know. So I went ahead and clicked that, and you can make the shape big, you can make the shape small. And that's exactly what I did. I just brought the shape size all the way down so that it kind of gives that background, that little bit of something behind the font to elevate it a little more than just leaving it plain. Do you see how that little something added a whole lot to such a simplistic piece of wall art? So if you're somebody who's more of a minimalist, I think this is the way to go. And this is it. We have our first piece of wall art here. So now that we kind of know basics of wall art, I think let's go ahead and play around with creating something that has a little bit more I want to say going on. You can see here we have this beautiful piece of artwork spotlighting all of these amazing women, different, features, different things that make them beautiful. And I think that that's what I loved about this one most. So all I did to find that, you guys, is really just go under, where did I go? Media. Did I go under media? Yes, I went under media, I think. And I think I typed in feminist pattern. I just kind of looked for things that I knew were going to work. And actually, I remember this did not give me what I was looking for. So what I did instead was I went under elements. And elements is a great way to find things that are more of an icon, more of a graphic type situation. So you can see when we type in feminist pattern here, we actually have this option here, backgrounds, and we also have design assets, which is really cool. But backgrounds is where I found it. You can see it's right here. And this is just like such a great way to, like, again, really look for graphics to elevate your wall art. I agree. It should be an expression of your personal taste, 100%. And, if you're somebody who is, celebrating Women's Month, or you want some like really inspirational pieces of wall art, this is going to be so much fun for you to create. But also, if you're somebody that's just looking to like elevate your creative workspace, hello, like, doesn't just have to be for Women's Month. I think everybody should have custom wall art in their space. It's just such a great way to make your space feel more like you. So you can see here, I have my background now. Now this looks really hectic. So if we kind of go back and we look at this one here, and we can see here, what do I have here? There's a little bit of a different color going on in the background. This font looks the exact same. So I think we're on the right track with the font, which is great, but it's the background. So this, if you go under and click, because this is an image, all you have to do is click image. And if we go here, and there's this setting here, where are we? Effects, and we're gonna go to duotone. And duotone, the way that I like to think of duotone is it's like adding a tint or a custom color palette to an already made image. So the original was obviously black and white, which we can see. I wanted something that felt like it, was a little bit more branded to me. So we go under duotone. You have lots of different fun things to choose from. Of course, you can play around with these and whatever your heart desires, click whichever one speaks to you. For me, I wanted something a little bit more personal. So I think if I go back, yes, we have pink. What I did was this dark pink here, and then for shadows, and then for highlights, I want to say this color. Let's see. Do I remember what I did? This is the question. I did white. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and make that white. And then I think what I did was I actually just lowered the opacity. So if we take this and we bring this down, you can see now what opacity means. Great question. If I were to explain opacity, I would probably say it's how much that you want, I guess how transparent you want your image to be. Does that make sense, chat? Let me know. Hey, Nicole. How transparent you want your image to be. So the lower the opacity scale, like the percentage, the less you're going to see the image, the higher you're going to see it full-blown effect. So for me, I just brought this down because I kind of didn't want the pattern or the background to be so intense, stealing the show. The pattern is cute, but the quote is where we want to focus. So all I really did with this is bring down the opacity. And then we're going to go ahead and instead of having this effect, we're going to turn off this effect so we're left with our quote. And our new quote is empowered women empower women. I love this quote so much. And if you're kind of thinking like, Brittney, where did you find this quote? Where did you find these quotes? Pinterest is my biggest secret. Empowered women. Oh my goodness. I hope I spelled this right. Empower women. We should be good. And then what we're going to start with is over here under our edits tab. So our regular kind of home screen for text, like that first screen you're going to see when you're on the text page, there's something here called text layouts. And what I did with this is because my OCD started kicking in, y'all. And I was like, I cannot handle the fact that the text is not like aligning and it kind of just looks like very jagged everywhere. That's a me problem. Like that has nothing to do with the text. But if you're like me and that would bother you, a fun feature I always love to lean into is dynamic. And if you click it, you can actually see it adjusts your text so that it kind of keeps the same width for the text and kind of brings it into this like box shape, which I really find super cool. So now that we kind of have that there, I'm going to go ahead and center it and we're going to go back to the effects. And let me just see, did we have white? Yes, we had white text. And then what I had actually done, let me go back here. I love how I have to compare my notes. I did. I had a little bit of an outline on this. So I had 81 as the thickness for the outline. And that is what we're going to do is under our, again, that main kind of text screen, we're going to go ahead and choose outline, and then we're going to choose our orange that we have here. And then the outline thickness is where we're going to be playing around with. So obviously the thicker that your outline is, the more of an outline you're going to see. The smaller percentage or the smaller number, the less. So for this, I had 81. So, I mean, 85 is kind of cute too. We'll just leave it at 85. And then what I had done, let's see what text effects is on here. We have a custom shadow with minus 180, 44 distance. So we're going to go over to shadow custom. This here was minus 180. Okay. And then the distance was 44. And then we had 0 on blur. So we're going to go ahead and bring that right down. And this kind of gives us that there is a design term for this. And remember when I said I'm not a designer, y'all? I don't know the right term, but it kind of gives it a little bit of like depth to the text. It kind of feels like it's coming out of the page almost, which me personally, like this is the kind of wall art that I like. I'm always really drawn to this. And then of course we have it centered already. So this is kind of good to go. And we can make this a little bigger if we want it to stand out more. Personally, me, I like to see some like space, like the graphic to have a bit of, or the wall art to have a little bit of breathing room. Like the text does not need to take up the entire piece of wall art. I actually find if you have a little bit of breathing space around, that tends to like make it look its best. And even here, I mean, we can go ahead and go back to duotone and maybe lighten this up a little bit. Sorry, this is under edit, opacity. Maybe lighten this up a little bit. I think something around here really feels super good to me and it feels like it's popping, which is what we want. Okay, so we have 2 pieces of wall art already ready to go. Now, the next one that I really want to show you, let's see. This is kind of exactly the same effect. This is just showing you some different ways that you can use that. So, I mean, here you can see I did the exact same thing. Maybe the settings are a little bit different, but I played around with the background. So we have this like fun checkered-y, it kind of gives like retro diner vibes. Retro diner is how I would say it probably. And I played around with the duotone for this as well because this was the original graphic, which you can see in the original graphic here. It is just kind of like black and white. I made it pink with the duotone feature, which is another amazing way that you can use duotone. So let's go into creating something a little different where we're going to use a photo as a background, which is like really trendy as well. A lot of pieces of wall art bring in different like flat lays in the background, or in this case, you can see we have a bunch of $100 bills. If you're into manifesting, you get the vibes. So we're going to go ahead and create a page as the same size. And now instead of going under elements, we're going to go to media. And we're going to type in $100 bill. I love the Express stock image library because all of this is commercial safe. So if you're somebody who is looking to make a little extra money with your designs, this is so great. Like you can create things literally inside of Adobe Express and sell them on platforms like your website or Etsy or wherever you want to sell them and make a little bit of extra money, which is pretty cool. All for helping the girlies win. So any questions you have with that, chat, I'm always here. And here you can actually see like there's lots of different $100 bills that we can choose from. I had played around with two different concepts. One that was like the $100 bill zoomed in, which actually, if I bring back up here, you can actually kind of see it's in this one here for me. Hold on. You see it right there? That's mine in my office right now. So I loved this one. And I think maybe, you know, again, like personal preference, you can do something with like all the $100 bills like this, like that other option that I was just showing you, or you could choose like a $100 bill like this. And we're just going to go ahead. And all I did for this was I zoomed, zoom right in. I'll bring this up a little bit more. I think if I do this, we should almost be there. So we zoomed right in like this. I'm going to actually, maybe, I think this looks good. Trying to center it. Okay. So now that we're there, again, can you guess, chat, which feature we're going to be using? I'll give you 3 seconds. It's duotone. This is like my favorite feature ever. I can't even with this feature. If somebody was to poll me and say like, Brittney, what is your most used Adobe Express feature? It's probably duotone, to be honest. So we're going to go ahead and for this one, what did I do? I did pink and I did a light pink. Sorry, I almost just coughed in y'all's face, so I had to stop myself for a quick second. So we did orange as the shadows, and then I think we did light pink, and then all I did was again go to opacity, lower the opacity so it's just like a little bit more behind, like you can see. And now it gets fun because we get to use a different font. So this one here, I had also kind of pre-selected with my, I want to call it a brand kit. For International Women's Day or Women's Month and all the fun stuff we're going to be doing. So this one here is, let me see, where are we? International Women's Month. It's this one here, Golden Plains. So all I did for this was, again, we're going to make sure this is aligned to the center. And I put breaking generational curses, which I love. Yes to women carving the way. Like, hello, we are stronger together. Okay, so for this, we're going to go ahead and change the fill and make this orange. And then I actually did add an outline on this. And this just kind of like is my way, especially if you have, like, I mean, you could do an outline. You don't have to do an outline. Is there more weights? No. In this case, this is my quick fix for you guys. If you're ever working with a font that is for some reason not, I want to say like showing up, or like as heavy as you want it to be, what we're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and just choose the outline here. And we'll go ahead and increase the outline thickness. So I made this orange. That way we have it a little darker, a little thicker. That's perfect. I want to say like here, that probably looks good. Nothing too crazy. And we're going to go ahead and shift this over. Okay. And now maybe make this a little larger. Okay. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and center this. So now that we kind of have this centered here, this is pretty much it. This is like the most that I did with this, I think. You can see here. Let me see. I think I lost you guys on camera. So let me just, okay, here we go. I don't know what happened there, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so here we have this here. We're going to make it a little smaller. Bring this in, make sure it's centered. Again, if you don't want to look for those lines, the best way to go ahead and do this is go position, middle, center, and then it's done. And here you have, oh, I was working on the wrong file. This is the story of my life, y'all. Let me quickly do this over here. So we have this, position, center, middle, perfect. Pretty much the same thing. The pink is a little darker there, so maybe what we'll do is darken the opacity just a little bit so that it pops a little bit more. And there we have it. Okay. And then this last one here, we have a few minutes left in this weekly live challenge. This last one here, you can see we have this custom matchbox. Now this is something that, again, I had actually created inside of Adobe Illustrator under the text to vector feature. So you can actually see this text is not part of the matchbox. These matches they were designed kind of on their own. So in order to kind of create this, and again, if you need help accessing text to vector or you want to play around with this feature, my suggestion is to maybe just drop a message in the chat, and then I'm sure our mod can send you the link for this. We're going to go ahead and create a page with the same size and change the background image. We did this bright orange, which is so fun. And under my stuff, what I love about, I created a library actually. You can see I dropped my matchboxes that I had created in here. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use this one with the like little circle in the middle, or if I wanted to use this one right here with just the matches. I ended up going with just the matches and the matchbox because I thought it would be really fun to add a little quote in the middle there. But again, like what I love about Adobe Express is like inside of Adobe Illustrator, you really don't have to know much. You can literally just drag and drop into your library and it will automatically show up on Adobe Express for you, which is so fun. And we're going to go ahead and press add text. And all I did for this was girl on fire. Hold on. I put ire, girl on ire, girl on fire. Here we go. Okay. And then I'm going to make this a little bigger. We'll move this into the center. Hold on. We're going to go ahead and press middle. We can even adjust the line spacing. Oh, hold on. I need all the line spacing to be adjusted. So we're going to go ahead and click on the box. Hold on the box. And then we'll go ahead and adjust the line spacing down a bit. Make this a little bit bigger just so that it stands out. Maybe make this white so that it pops out a little bit more. That would be fun. And then what we'll go ahead and do is center this here. And you can, so this is important to know. Whenever you're working with a graphic that has a little bit of an outline, when you center this, it's not centered with this square. It's actually centered with the entire image. So if you want a little quick fix on how to make sure that I want to say your text is centered to the shape that you're working with, sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring in like I want to call it a dummy square and size it to the space that I'm working with. So we'll go here. I'll bring it, send it a little bit back. Oh, hold on. Not that far back. We'll change this text so we can actually see what we're doing here. And then just drag this to the middle of the square. So this is in the middle of the square now. And now we know that when we remove this, we'll bring this font back to white, that is center with the actual square of the matchbox. So fun. Okay, amazing. So now that is kind of pretty much it. This is our weekly Express challenge, and what we had done, like I had said before, if you're just tuning in now, what we had actually done is created our own custom wall art that you can print. It's 8.5 by 11 sized inches already, so you can literally print it on printer paper. And it's already pre-sized, pre-created. You have a starter file that's linked in the description of this video. You know, so much fun with it, and create your own custom wall art for your office. And hopefully y'all learned some fun tips and tricks that you can take into, you know, your own creations and make it super fun and have fun with it. And I mean, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to create your wall art. Just have a lot of fun with it. Make it yours, and we'd love to see it. So when you get a chance to create yours or remix the template link that's attached, make sure that you tag me at Brittney Megann and at Adobe Live so that we can see your creations. Thank you all so much for joining me. This was so much fun hanging out, and I can't wait to see you next week for another weekly challenge and to continue celebrating International Women's Month with you. I'll see you in the next one.